Actually, I'm representing the Czech Republic because it's Armenian European magazine based here in Prague, and my question goes to foreign ministers of V4 countries. Actually, it's a very tense situation in the Caucasus now, so I'll not be politically correct. My question will be rather very direct. An Azeri armed forces soldier demonstratively beheaded a soldier of the Nagorno-Karabakh Defense Army during the four-day war a month ago. Then he posed with the head in front of video and photo cameras. Only a couple of days ago, the Azeri president granted the highest honors to this war criminal, as he once decorated as a hero the ex-murderer extradited from Hungary, to Baku. I would like to know why you don't give a political evaluation to this DAESH, ISIS-style behavior of both the soldier and the president, hence the country itself. Thank you very much.
Probably I have to respond to this very bad.
I'm very sorry. I know what you will respond. My question goes to the foreign ministers of the
I'm also foreign minister of Azerbaijan. If you don't want to listen to my response, why you ask the question to foreign ministers? So let me go into the history of the issue, because it's a very badly orchestrated question, and this was part of our discussion today, and raised again as to the roots of this conflict, which started not yesterday and not the day before yesterday, rather than it started almost 25 years ago, when Armenian side put forward their first verbally and then militarily, and then through the military means occupied the territories of Azerbaijan in the 90s of the last century. Of course, there was a lot of atrocities, including the very notorious practice conducted by Armenian army of the ethnic cleansing. The territories, which count about 20% of the territory of Azerbaijan, independent Azerbaijan, member of United Nations, and all of the territories was ethnically cleansed by Armenian armed forces. United Nations Security Council in 1993, during the hot period of time of war between Armenia and Azerbaijan, adopted 4 resolutions, and which is absolutely clearly demanding, not even call, but demand unconditional and immediate and complete withdrawal of Armenian troops from the occupied territories of the Republic of Azerbaijan. It's not the case of Nagorno-Karabakh, it's also 7 adjacent territories where never ever one single Armenian used to live. And Armenian community of Nagorno-Karabakh was happily existing together with Azerbaijani community during the Soviet time. With the latest outbreak of war, I also should inform the media that negotiations to some extent was very intensive discussions was done through the last 10-12 years. By the way, we appreciate the lovely city of Prague, where we start in 2004 the next round of negotiations, which comes to the idea of Prague process. And the Prague process ended up with the proposals which was done by the co-chairs of the peace group, namely United States, Russia, and France, which put it forward the ideas which calls Madrid principles. Then it was within the 2 years of more strong negotiations, ended up in 2009 with the updated Madrid principles. And these principles are very clear. It's a step-by-step approach with first and utmost importance that the military should be withdrawn, Armenian army should be withdrawn from the occupied territory of Azerbaijan, that the refugees and internally displaced must return back to their homes, and the communication, the transportation links must be connected, and international peacekeepers can be introduced, and at the end of the story, of course, whenever everything will be settled, we will finally define the status of Nagorno-Karabakh. And our understanding, of course, for sure, it will be as a part of the implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions, which is totally and fully supported on the territorial integrity, sovereignty, and internationally recognized borders of independent Republic of Azerbaijan. With the latest outbreak of the violence, we should be frank, the violence was on the line of contact was run within all these years when there is an understanding of the ceasefire in 94 and 95. And then the line of contact was always very fragile because there was sometimes sporadic, sometimes more intensive, the military clashes there. The very intensive military clashes on the line of contact was started very intensive in 2014 first, after the meeting in Paris of two presidents, when we issued the more positive mood that we can move on the negotiation talks, because, as I said, reality is there as a step-by-step approach that Armenia will withdraw the troops from the areas surrounding Baku, and we can move forward to bring peace rather than existed war. And the most important, based on the Northern Principle of International Law, which is for sure it's a basis for the settlement of the conflict. Very unfortunately, we was in Washington for the nuclear summit, and we got also see very intensive intervention from that time United States. The Russian Federation also very intensively moved forward their ideas, particularly on the level of Foreign Minister Lavrov. Secretary Kerry was involved. And again, it's something like a notorious practice. These clashes on the line of contact and the military involvement, it starts to be more intensified, and that's creating as a vicious circle that we can not so far moving forward. Now we have, with the assistance of the Chief of Staff of Armed Forces of Russian Federation, on the 5th of April, thanks God, bring some truce, which is Russian Federation invited Chief of Staff of Armenia and Azerbaijan to Moscow, and we reached to the point that we can make some truce and at least to diminish the military effect of it. This is just the facts, but reality is there that one of the most important elements, that enough is enough. The co-chairs, even up to the presidents of the three countries like United States, Russia, and France, made a lot of, approve a lot of statements, which is always saying just existed status quo is unacceptable and unsustainable. And in this regard, I think that it's absolutely clear message that time is ripe, that we need to reach a breakthrough, and the Armenian side will start at least recognizing that they cannot have the status quo as it exists today, because it's impossible, and the Armenian troops and the military should be back to barracks. And that's probably the best way how to move forward. Of course, with understanding that it can be a win-win for everyone, and that will be so long-standing peace will come to the region, and the region will develop for the interests and the success and welfare of the people who are living there, but not in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, a very long lecture, but no answer to a very direct and very clear question. Because I agree that enough is enough to proclaim murderers as national heroes of Azerbaijan. It was done with Safarov, and now, you know, all brutalities during the very large scale, very well planned and prepared military aggressive operations against Nagorno-Karabakh, and during those operations, brutalities, DAESH-style, maybe not DAESH-style, but Baku-style, because before it was the case of Safarov, 3 captured Armenian soldiers were beheaded, and their heads were demonstrated in the villages and cities of Azerbaijan, And one of the murderers was proclaimed just 2 days ago by Azerbaijani president as a national hero. I will not go to the deep of the history of this conflict, but it is well known that the conflict was created by aggression of Azerbaijan against Nagorno-Karabakh with the use of mercenaries closely linked to notorious terrorist organizations. Azerbaijani foreign minister recalling 4 resolutions of the Security Council. Why 4? Because after adoption of each of the resolutions, Azerbaijan rejected to respect them. And 4 resolutions were adopted with one goal, to stop hostilities. Azerbaijan didn't respect it. Till now, after 1994, after the ceasefire agreements reached on a trilateral basis, signed by Azerbaijan, Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia, and they have no time limit. 3 co-chair countries, by the way, they are well known for everybody, permanent members of the Security Council, never made any reference to those resolutions of the Security Council, because Security Council resolutions were adopted, as I said, to have a ceasefire. And ceasefire was adopted later on 94 May by this trilateral agreement, then confirmed in July 94, then in February 95. By the way, during this operation, last operation, Azerbaijani diplomats were trying to present a situation like those agreements, they are not in force. A verbal note was sent to Vienna, to Secretariat of OSCE, saying that those agreements, they are not in force. My colleague told to 3 co-chairs that ambassador of Azerbaijan had no instruction to do it. It was unilateral personal initiative. And 3 co-chairs, because the word not verbal was not withdrawn, so 3 co-chairs, they were obliged to send their own verbal note saying no. 3 agreements of 94, 95, they have no time limit and they have to be respected and fully implemented. And the oral arrangement reached on May 5th, April 5th in Moscow. This was with the goal to stop hostilities and to restore violated ceasefire agreements of 94-95. Later on, another diplomat, Azerbaijani diplomat, distributed another note verbal in New York, in UN. Again, my colleague told to 3 co-chairs that it was done without his instructions. Diplomat just initiated on a personal basis and distributed this letter. But because this note verbal was not withdrawn, so 3 co-chair countries, by the way, just to remind you, there are 3 permanent members, United States, Russia and France. They were obliged to distribute last Saturday a letter saying no. Trilateral ceasefire agreements reached in 94-95, they have to be respected fully. What we have today, very negative consequences after this aggression against Nagorno-Karabakh, new aggression in the beginning of April. And we have to continue our efforts together with the 3 co-chairs to restore negotiating environment and to assure, to guarantee no repetition of such kind of things which happened in the beginning of April. And first of all, to implement the proposal of the 3 co-chairs to create a mechanism of investigation of the violations of a ceasefire rejected by Azerbaijan and accepted by Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh. And another proposal to increase, to enhance, to make stronger the capacities of the office and the team of the personal representative of the chairman office of the OSCE on the ground, but not to reduce the capacities of this team that Azerbaijan is trying to do. That we have, and Armenia will continue its efforts together with the 3 co-chair countries to find exclusively peaceful negotiated solution for this conflict. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much.